As the economy worsens in America, many college students are forced to live at home with their parents. I happen to be one of those students. But luckily, I managed to gain a lot of scholarships and grants throughout my work in high school, and been pretty financially stable ever since. I never really needed a job, but that came with a price. This price, obviously, was I didn't really get the experience, and I felt pretty intimidated by all the requirements and expectations on each internship forms, which I'm sure many of you have seen in your search. But an opportunity opened up for me in the month of August of last year, an opportunity I thought would never have been possible. I ended up being a game designer and case designer for an online game known as My Little Investigations. So I'm going to tell you how I got my job, what my job entailed, and why this seemingly unrelated job to my major was so significant to me. So before I go on, let me tell you a bit about the fan game that I'm working on, so you have a little bit of background on it. This game is based on two universes, two of my favorite ones. One is the Ace Attorney Investigation series, and in this game you pretty much play as a lawyer. You gather evidence, you present it, and you crack testimonies. And the other universe is from the show My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic. So, what drew me to these universes is because of all the characters and well-written dialogue and story, but to see these two combined was just simply a perfect mix. So once I found a video on YouTube, I contacted the developer, GadoX. And with him, I sent him an email expressing my interest, and he responded back, and I was surprised to see that he actually liked what I had to say. So from there, it was basically just a match of idea ping pong. He will say one thing, I will say the other, and I ended up earning his trust and earning the job as case and game designer. Now that I told you how I got my job, let me tell you what I was doing during these past 6 months. My first task was definitely to help create all these stories and puzzles for this game. Ace Attorney is very notorious for its murder cases, but in a world filled with ponies, it just doesn't make any sense. So we had to work our way around that. We had to be creative about it. I had to deal with crimes such as arson, theft, and we had to work our way around it. Something that would definitely help me in future projects where I'm stuck in a wall and need to find a way around it. The next thing I did was help develop different game modes of it. Ace Attorney has plenty of different game modes, which I wish I had time to go over, but one of the most interesting ones is the partner system. As with most investigators, you usually have a partner taking notes or helping them lead on the right track. In Ace Attorney Investigations, this partner wouldn't really do much. He would just stand there and just provide some funny dialogue, but nothing really too major. I wanted to rectify that in this fan game. I wanted to make sure they have a purpose, that they're able to crack testimonies, that they're able to present evidence and be more useful than before. And as we were going through development, the scope of this project became bigger and bigger and bigger, and we realized we needed help. We had to recruit. So I was also directly involved in the feedback and recruitment of our new team of 14 members. And these 14 members were filled with voice actors and visual artists and music composers. And once the team was established, we also had a name of ourselves known as Equestrian Dreamers, which is the team name I work with now. We also have a forum, and I also moderate the forums, make sure things are in line, that morale is up in the team, and that I'm able to maintain a happy atmosphere as the team works on the project. Now that you have a better understanding of what I have done in these past 6 months, let me tell you about the significance of this job. Well, I never really imagined this project would get as big as it would right now. But in turn, this gave me the confidence to finally pursue those internships I so desired. I've also learned about the importance of communication. Many times in this process, I've dealt with people who are very incommunicado, and I'm sure I'll run into those type of people in the real world today. And in order to keep big projects moving, no matter what you do, communication is extremely, extremely important. And I also found a comfortable backup career in case my career in mechanical engineering somehow fails me. And that career definitely being in creative writing and game design. And lastly, this project is simply just fun. If you're going to be involved in a long-term project and you're not passionate about it, where's the fun there? I know you're going to run into situations where it's not going to be as interesting as what you thought it would be, but if you find that one niche, that one passion, whatever you do, then I suggest you pursue it. So let us summarize. I told you how I got my job with Equestrian Dreamers, what I have done during these past 6 months in game design and story creation, and why this job was indeed significant to me. Now before I end, I'd like to present to you the logo of the game and how this was an example. Of an opportunity. How this was an example of how I was uncomfortable. Gabu, the developer, asked me to create pretty much the gist of the logo, and I had no artistical experience at all. So when I had to draw this logo out, I didn't know what to expect. But luckily, he trusted in me, I delivered on my first try, and this became our logo for the game. So I urge you that no matter what you do in your career, if someone asks you to do something you're not comfortable with, just go ahead and do it. There's nothing to be afraid of. They know you're inexperienced, and I certainly learned that from Gabu. Thank you.